She didn't slam the door. She didn't cry. She just left. And for 3 years, her family didn't know if she was ever coming back. This is the story of Mara, 31 years old, the kind of person who remembered everyone's birthday, who always made sure there was enough food on the table, who held the family together with quiet, invisible hands. And this is the story of her family. Her mother, Elena, her younger brother, Daniel, and her father, a man of few words and firm opinions named George. On the surface, they looked like a normal family. Close, loving, tight-knit. But underneath, there were years of unspoken words, unheard feelings, and one night that changed everything. This is not a story about a family falling apart. This is a story about what it costs to love people who don't yet know how to love you back the right way. Mara had always been what her family called the responsible one. While Daniel was allowed to take gap years and change majors and date whoever he wanted, Mara was expected to be stable, predictable, safe. She studied accounting, not because she loved numbers, but because her father said it was practical. She stayed in her hometown, not because she wanted to, but because her mother said, "Who will take care of us when we're old?" And Mara, sweet, loyal Mara, listened. Every single time. She didn't resent them, not at first. She told herself, this is what family means. You give, you sacrifice. That's love. And for years, she believed. What nobody in Mara's family knew, what she had never told them, was that she had a dream. Since she was 16 years old, Mara had wanted to study design, specifically interior architecture. She wanted to create spaces where people felt safe, felt at home. She had a folder on her laptop. She'd had it for 11 years, filled with inspiration photos, mood boards, rough sketches, and the websites of universities in other cities that offered the exact program she wanted. She never applied. Every year she would open that folder, scroll through it slowly, then close it. Because applying meant leaving, and leaving meant abandoning her family. Or at least, that's what she had been made to feel. It happened on a Tuesday in November. Mara was 30 years old. She had been offered a position, a real paid opportunity, at a design firm in a city 4 hours away. Her manager, who had noticed her quietly redesigning the layout of their office just for fun, had connected her with the firm's founder. It was everything she had ever quietly wished for. So that night, for the first time in her life, Mara sat her family down and told them the truth. I've been offered a job in Linz. It's in design. It's what I've always wanted to do. I think I want to take it. Her mother looked at her father. Her father looked at the floor. Then George spoke. Design. You have a stable job. A good job. Why would you throw that away for something like design? Because it's what I love, Dad. I've always loved it. I just never felt like I could say that out loud. So you've been unhappy here all this time, and you said nothing? And now you want to just leave us? That's not what I said. I said I want to grow. I want to... You have everything you need here. A home, family, people who love you. What more do you want? And there it was, the sentence that had quietly ruled her life for 30 years. What more do you want? Said not with cruelty, but with a kind of confused, genuine belief that love meant staying, that need meant belonging, that leaving was the same as abandoning. Mara tried to explain. She talked for almost an hour, about the folder on her laptop, about the application she never sent, about the years she had quietly folded herself smaller so she could fit the shape they needed her to be. Her brother Daniel said nothing. He stared at his phone. Her mother cried. Her father went to bed without another word. The next morning, Mara woke up before anyone else. She sat in the kitchen for a long time, and she made a decision. Not out of anger, not out of spite, out of something quieter and sadder than both of those things. She thought, if I stay, I will shrink until there is nothing left of me, and then I will resent them, and then I will lose them anyway, but from the inside out. She left a note. It said, I love you. I will always love you. But I need to find out who I am when I'm not just who you need me to be. Please don't think this is about you. It is about me. It has always been about me, and I was never allowed to say that before. I'm sorry it came out like this. I will call. I promise. She picked up her suitcase. She closed the door behind her, softly. For the first 3 months, the silence was deafening. Her mother called twice, then stopped. Both calls ended in tears before they even got to a conversation. Her father never called. Daniel texted once, Mom is really upset, as if that was the information Mara most needed to hear. Mara threw herself into her new life. She started at the design firm. She rented a small apartment with tall ceilings and big windows. She enrolled in an evening course at the university she had dreamed about since she was 16. And every night she sat in her new apartment in her new city, surrounded by the life she had chosen, and felt both free and completely alone. She missed her mother's cooking. She missed the way the house smelled on Sunday mornings. She even missed her father's silences, because at least in those silences she knew where he was. Leaving had cost her something real. She just also knew that staying would have cost her more. 8 months after Mara left, her father had a heart attack. It was her brother who called her. His voice was strange, stripped of its usual carelessness. Mara, it's Dad. You need to come home. She was on a train within 2 hours. The whole ride she stared at her mother's contact on her phone, thumb hovering over the call button. She didn't know what she would say. She didn't know what kind of reception she would get. She didn't know if she would walk into that hospital and be welcomed or punished or both. She pressed call. Her mother answered on the first ring. Mara. Mama, I'm on my way. I'm coming. A long pause. Okay. Just that. One word. But in the way she said it, Mara could hear 8 months of walls beginning to crack. Her father was awake when she arrived, pale, smaller looking than she remembered. He had wires attached to his chest and an IV in his arm, and he looked, for the first time in Mara's life, like a man who was just a man. Not a fortress, not an authority, just a person. Fragile, tired. Mara stood in the doorway. George looked at her. Neither of them spoke for a long moment. Then her father did something she had never seen him do before. He reached out his hand. Mara crossed the room. She sat in the chair beside his bed. She took his hand in both of hers. And George, this man of few words and firm opinions, said, I didn't know you were unhappy. I thought you were fine. I thought if you had food and a home and family, that was enough. I didn't know it wasn't enough. A beat. I don't understand the things you want, but I think maybe I should have tried harder to understand. Mara didn't say, it's okay, because some of it wasn't okay, and she had learned, in the 8 months she had been gone, that saying, it's okay, when it wasn't, had been part of the problem all along. Instead, she said, I never stopped loving you, Dad, not for a single day. I just had to go find out that I was allowed to love myself too. George squeezed her hand. He didn't have words for that, but the squeeze said enough. In the days that followed, Mara and her mother had the conversations they had never had before. Not easy ones, not comfortable ones. Elena said things like, "I felt abandoned. I know that's not fair, but I did. I felt like you chose strangers over us." And Mara let her say it. She didn't defend herself. She just listened. And then she said, "I understand why it felt that way. I need you to understand that I wasn't running from you. I was running toward myself. And I needed you to let me do that, even if it hurt." Elena was quiet for a long time. Then, "I don't know how to be a mother who lets go. Nobody taught me that. No, nobody taught me how to leave without it feeling like a betrayal either. We're both learning." Mara went back to her city, but this time she left a door open behind her instead of just a note. She calls her mother every Sunday now. Sometimes the calls are short. Sometimes they last 2 hours. Sometimes her mother still says things that sting a little. Old habits don't vanish overnight.
No. And leaving, real leaving, the kind that breaks your own heart on the way out the door, is sometimes the most loving thing you can do. Not just for yourself, for them too. Because when Mara left, she forced her family to confront something they had never had to face before. That loving someone is not the same as knowing them. That keeping someone close is not the same as keeping them safe. That home is not a place you trap people in. It's a place they choose to return to. The hardest conversations are the ones we keep waiting to have. The words, "I feel unseen," are terrifying to say, and even more terrifying to hear. But they are the words that, when finally spoken out loud in a room with people who love you, have the power to change everything. Mara didn't fix her family. She didn't come home with solutions. She came home with honesty, with patience, with the willingness to sit across from someone who hurt her, unintentionally, out of love, and say, "I'm not going anywhere, but I need you to see me, really see me, and I will do the same for you." That is the work. That is the unglamorous, invisible, ongoing work of love. Not grand gestures, not perfect apologies, just two people, or four, choosing again and again to stay in the conversation. She is designing her first solo project now, a family home. She says she knows exactly how it should feel when you walk inside. She's been taking notes her whole life. This story stayed with you. If some part of Mara's journey felt like a page from your own, then you're not alone. Every week on Between Us, we sit with stories like this one. Stories about the love that confuses us, the family we struggle to leave and can't stop running back to, the relationships that shape us in ways we don't fully understand until years later. If that's the kind of space you're looking for, a quiet place to feel understood, then join us. Subscribe to Between Us. Turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Because between us, nobody should have to carry these things alone.